Thanks, Patrick, for this introduction. I'll use hopefully less than 5 minutes so that we have more time for the discussions. Two reasons. One, because I got some chance in the morning to say a few words. And secondly, because more importantly, the two of my colleagues were part of this first session and they have shared quite a few details about the views which we have as an institute as TERI. But nevertheless, what I would like to do in these next 3 or 4 minutes is just a few pointers from my side, I think, which are extremely important from the energy efficiency perspective when one is looking at the SMEs and also on the other subject of waste heat recovery. If you permit me, I will use this, your presentation, Patrick, which you had, the two slides which you had. One is on the building stakeholder partnerships, and the slide which you had, the combination of measures. If one looks at this slide, Patrick presented in the morning, he mentioned about stakeholder partnerships. He talked about governments, financial institutions, industry associations on one side. Of course, they're all interlinked. And then on the other side, consultants, NGOs, educational institutions, equipment suppliers. I think since morning we have talked quite a lot about government programs, subsidies, financial institutions, what they should do. But if we look at the other side, the consultants, the equipment suppliers, the utilities you have mentioned, there is nobody in this room who is representing an electric utility. I just wanted to focus my thoughts on these points, who are an extremely important stakeholder in this entire gamut of energy efficiency if one looks at it. Specifically, in India, this whole subject of demand-side management is not yet in the horizon anywhere. Nobody in this room talked about demand-side management. If we look at countries like USA or even in Europe, many other countries, they do have vibrant demand-side management programs where actually the electric utilities are taking initiatives in inculcating the habit of energy conservation and energy awareness amongst their consumers. So in India, it is just taking shape. Gujarat is one of the first states where TERI worked a few, 2 years back, where we worked with 4 electric utilities in Gujarat to maybe initiate some programs of DSM. There is a regulation in India where all the electric utilities have to have DSM regulations, but somehow it is just now taking shape. So I just wanted to flag off that point that the important stakeholder electric utilities are missing in this room. We know they should have been there, but that's one area where we need to develop relationship with these electric utilities in the years to come. The second and the third I just wanted to say is this whole subject of, we have talked briefly about that, the local service providers. For any efficient solution, we believe, unless or until you have a local solution, somebody at the local level who can provide the solution to the industries whom they want at the costs which they want. So it has to be market driven. It can't be something which can always be through subsidies and through grants. One can have initially for demonstration projects, grants initially, but ultimately it has to be driven at the local level. So we need a vibrant local service providers. This is what we had been emphasizing based upon our experience for the last so many years. And we are happy that at least BE, when they initiated their program in the 11th five-year plan, they wanted to focus on LSPs, but somehow that still remains, we believe, as one of the most important areas if we want to get the numbers at the local level. So to me, the equipment suppliers, the consultants, the NGOs at the local level, they will play an extremely important role if we have to have large numbers in the years to come. And the other stakeholder which Patrick you mentioned in this was the educational institutions. I think this is again one big area where we in India have not really taken the benefit of the large number of engineering colleges which we have now in almost all the districts in the country. We don't have these linkages which we normally see in developed countries. In Norway, for example, they have such a good, vibrant system where you have the industry, where you have the local educational institutions, and the local governments. It's a trilateral kind of a thing. So the government support the programs, the local engineering colleges or the institutions, research institutes, if they are present. So they take up those things, and you have solutions which are available always for the industry there. So I think these are the things which we have not yet captured in case of India. These things will need to be developed in the years to come. And then the other slide, Patrick, which you used, the use of a combination of measures. I think in this, unless you have talked about information, finance, and capacity building in this, to me, I feel coming from probably an engineering background, in my team we have almost 25 to 30 professionals in my team, except one Upender who is with an MBA background. Rest all of us with engineering, so we have a bias toward technical side. But I believe that unless and until we have a technology circle in this, unless your technology is a part of information, to me, that's the key thing, which we do say many times in all these discussions and meetings, that technologies are available and people are out. But I believe personally that we need customized technology solutions and hand-holding support at the local level. This was talked about in a couple of other presentations and my predecessors also. So we believe that need for customized technology solutions at the local level is the need of an hour. This was also pointed out in the presentation, I think, which Upinder made when he talked about different kinds of technologies at different stages in their commercialization chain, commercialization stages. For mature technologies, if we are talking about a simple mature technology, maybe even a LED bulb, you gave the example. So that's a very, Mr. Patil gave. So that's a technology, but it can be simply be replaced. But for those technologies which are not in the mature stage, which are in the pre-commercial stage, or which are in a semi-commercial stage, there you need customized solutions, there you need people to support these things. So the government support, whether it is from, I would say, the state governments, probably organizations like JEDA or others in all the states, or from the central government schemes, they should focus quite a lot on these RD&D programs to develop customized solutions. And another last point which I just wanted to mention was that for, which I mentioned in my initial remarks in the morning, we do have, in India, at least in this case, in India for the last 4 or 5 years, we have seen large number of institutions, bilateral, multilateral institutions coming forward and providing support for energy efficiency financing. JICA has been a partner with SIDBI for many, many years. Now I think this is the third tranche, sir, we are having, or fourth tranche, I think, from third tranche we are having. Germans have come forward and provided concessional loan. French have come forward. USAID has a program now supporting some activities in India. World Bank has a large JEF program. Terry has been a part, Mr. Rajiv Kumar mentioned about that. But if you look at the lines of credit and all, I somehow believe that there is a definite need to bring in the technical assistance component in a big way in all these financial assistance lines of credit which are coming from developed countries. And in these TA components, there is a need to get the technical assistance from the developed world. We still believe, we have worked from Terry's side with many of the Japanese organizations. There are a large number of technologies which we believe exist in countries like Japan, because this program is, I'm giving the example of Japan because it is supported by the government of Japan. There are a large number of very vibrant SMEs in Japan. We are not talking about big companies like Hitachi or Mitsubishi. We are even talking about SMEs in countries like Japan. They are looking forward to expanding their business in developing countries like India. So probably what is needed is that in all these TA lines, you should have some built-in components where you get the Japanese, or in this case from JICA lines, get them interested in the Indian business, let them support some technology demonstration projects in India, customize them for the Indian markets, bring down the costs which are more suitable for the Indian companies. Obviously, a cost of an equipment which is from Japan, just manufactured and imported in India, would not be suitable for SME in India. So what one needs is those kind of things built into these lines of credit. This would be just maybe 5–10% of the total cost of the lines of the credit which come in. So these are some of my thoughts I felt which have not been touched during the day. Thanks, Patrick.